And thank you all for being here today. I appreciate you coming to learn, coming to hopefully just get some lessons. And today's class is going to be focused for those of us who are interested in obtaining the PPP loan. This is probably for vast majority of realtors agents that have income. This is probably the best solution or benefits that we are getting from the CARES Act. So I wanted to cover in detail how to apply, how to certify for benefits, how to get the forgiveness application, as well as the criteria of what it's for and everything like that. To just really give you the guidance that you need in supplement to what CAR is providing, because they've done a good job on getting a lot of these and lobbying for our behalf. But a lot of us learned and heard about the PPP loan last year when it started back in the beginning of the pandemic. And some of us missed that window of opportunity. Either there was a flood of people that were applying in the very beginning, and it was very tough to get. But now they increased funding. So the government has increased, I think it's like $1.9 trillion to help small businesses. And guess what? We as realtors are a small business, and we're running our own independent contractor business under the company. And you guys all have expenses. You guys all have hopefully some income. And what we're going to do is understand how to apply, go through the steps and the motions, and I'll show you the links where to get the information. And you can kind of calculate for yourself what is your a loan amount that you can qualify for. And the reason why I say loan amount, okay, is because this is considered for the government. They have to call it a loan. They have to say, we're going to issue you, I don't know, $10,000 of loan money to help your small business stay afloat during this pandemic. A lot of businesses were closed, and they have to have a loan because there has to be what's called an additional step from the borrower. So that is called the forgiveness application. And so if you don't submit your forgiveness application, you are going to have a loan at 1% interest payable, and I think it's 2 years, which is still not bad. But in order to get qualified for full forgiveness, then you have to submit your application, provide the evidence and your tax return, your Schedule C. And so if you want to take the moment to pull out your your Schedule C, you can, if you want to go with me side by side, but you don't need to do it all now. This is really just the lesson that we're learning, but I'll show you the application form and how easy it is. Because it's the forgiveness and the application is not very difficult, okay? It's a pretty simple process. And my homework from you, which was last week in the sales meeting, I told you to watch 2 videos. Okay, one from Meet Kevin, he's a YouTuber, and the other one was JJ, the CPA. And they teach you the details, the ins and outs. And hopefully you follow that homework that I told you last sales meeting, because it'll make this opportunity a lot more meaningful and helpful to you since you've already went through the basics. But regardless of which, let's continue on. I'm recording my screen now. I'm going to start sharing really quickly the overview of what we have. This is the email from CAR. My Sarah Sudajan, our CAR representative, emails us, and I send these out to you guys regularly when I have something meaningful to share. But as you can see, there's $1.9 trillion being set aside by President Biden for the American Rescue Plan. Okay, this is $1,400 of relief checks for every individual, which are getting the supplement $600 checks in the CARES Act too. So hopefully you're going to start getting your stimulus money soon or hitting your bank account. And if you have not inputted your bank account, you simply go to this website called Track My Irs Payment. And if you Google this, you can get your payments, submit your bank account routing and checking account number. And when you do that, it'll automatically direct deposit into your account, which I've already done. But I'm just sharing with you how to make sure the IRS has your bank account so that you get your money faster. Okay, many of you guys already did this in the past. Just showing you what it is, but the PPP is the focus of today. Okay, this is where there is a simple one-page forgiveness certification form, which made it so much easier for all of us who took round one draw um, to get the forgiveness application. So some of you guys already submitted it because some banks have already opened up their window, some have not. It really depends on the timing of when you got your loan. But let me explain to you, there's two differences on the SBA loan. There's draw one and there's draw two. Okay. I'm going to talk to you about what draw one. Do you guys see my CAR website right now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so I'm scrolling through. This is the frequently asked questions written by CAR for us to help us guide us. So I'll cover this page in detail, and I'll also talk about the differences between draw one and draw two. But let me explain real quick. Draw one is actually really good. Is a very easy, forgivable loan in quotes, where you could basically get 2.5 months worth of your income. Okay, what does that mean by 2.5 months? Well, whatever your income was in 2019 or in 2020, you get to choose whichever is greater. The recent new legislation for all loans after March 3rd, 2021, you will be eligible for your gross income of 2019 or 2020. Divide that number by 12 months, okay? Multiply it by 2.5, which is 2.5 months. And that is going to be considered to be what your loan amount maximum could be. It caps out at, I think it's $100,000. Okay. So, no, I'm sorry. The gross income caps out at $100,000. Okay. So if you made $200,000 of income last year, you can only apply for the $100,000 as your maximum gross income. Does that make sense? The second thing I wanted to point out is that you do not need to have employees, okay? You yourself are working for your own business. You're a sole independent contractor. Some of you guys do have employees, so there's two links to follow. This one is for people with employees. This one is for those without. Some people have a assistant or people that they pay on their payroll. So then you would use this link, and this is for the forgiveness without employees, okay? But regardless of whether employers or not, you're eligible to apply. And I want to point out that the forgiveness application is still there, because as long as you're using 75% towards your payroll, I think it's 60 to 75% towards your payroll, then you will get some sort of eligibility forgiveness done. You just got to provide the documentation and statements with your bank. So this page has been updated a week ago, 10 days ago, and this is really helpful information for all of us to cover. I'm also going to show to you the official language from the SBA website, but this one is a lot more helpful because this from the CAR is fine-tuned for us realtors to understand. Okay, now the loan draw two, the difference on draw two is not based solely on your gross income. It is basically the eligibility criteria for round two is your 2020, any quarter, whether it's quarter one, January through March, or quarter two, April through June, or quarter three, or quarter four. Your quarter from 2020 needs to see, any of those quarters needs to have a 25% reduction from your 2019 income in order for you to be eligible for round two. Okay, you need to have a loss, or a lot of us have a very low or poor performance in 2020 because, for example, March through June, many of us weren't working. We were too fearful of being exposing to public. So I would imagine a majority, and I know from a company standpoint, our numbers have dipped in quarter two. So likely your business, and you can use any quarter, but I'm telling you, your quarter two is probably lower than your quarter two of 2019. So if you have that experienced, that loss of 25% reduction in your income, you will be eligible for round two. Round two means that you've already received round one though, okay? Half of us, or I don't know what percentage of us have already gotten PPP loan number one. I have done mine. So I'm in the process of doing my round two, but I'm gonna speak first towards round one, because I know a lot of you guys missed out on round one. Either A, you didn't know about it, you missed a deadline, your bank declined you and you gave up. You got kind of, maybe you got frustrated, or it was just too complicated for you because it kept on changing the rules. Or maybe you were too prideful to take the loan because you have reserves. But in the event, whatever it is, your excuse, you didn't take the PPP round one, this window is available again. So I just want to remind you, if you have interest right now to do your round one, regardless if you did that, it's actually even better than when I did it in round one, because previously I used my net income, which was much lower than my gross income. And round one right now, after March 3rd, for all new loans of 2021, they're allowing you to use your gross income, which is much, much higher. So if I had not done my round one, I really wish I do it right now, because I could get a lot more loan amount that's forgivable. So that's the silver lining for those of you who missed out the first time. Guess what? You get to use your gross income. Okay, and you get to choose whether you want 2019 or 2020, whichever is greater, if that's what you want to maximize your loan amount. So let's talk about it now. Now that we understand there's round one and round two, let's talk about round one. So Biden announced he's going to have this PPP loan available for round two, and allowing for people to come for round one who didn't receive funding during a previous round. So that makes you eligible if you missed out. So most of us as realtors, the PPP loan is the best option for all of us realtors because of the forgiveness element of this. Because this is forgivable, a lot of us have the ability to get this money, help us in our business, and keep our business expenses in line. Paying. We all have a lot of different expenses. So what we're going to do is the range of these loans are going to be $5,000 to $25,000 to all of us independent contractors. There's no greater, because it caps out. What the maximum loan amount for those of us who maybe made over $100,000, you could probably get is about $20,833 for your initial round one loan. Okay, what do you use this loan for? Adam says, can I use it for an auto purchase? And I'm going to tell you, no, it's not to be used for auto purpose if you want forgiveness. If you want forgiveness, which I assume is going to be, 99% of you, you're going to be using it for your payroll, your own payroll, or your employees' payroll. You're going to use it for rent expenses. For example, maybe you have you're renting an office, okay? You could use it for your mortgage expenses, for any business equipment or business mortgage that you have. It can be used for personal protection equipment right here. I'm reading it right here. Personal protection equipment like masks, gloves, and sanitization for your business, that maybe you did some showings and you had to buy, at Costco, a bunch of sanitizer and wipes and shoe covers and all this stuff. You can use it for your operational expenses, and that's so much. To be in operation in real estate, I got to pay stuff like, I got to pay, insurance. I got to pay for my dues. I got to pay for your fixed expenses like your MLS and subscriptions. You can pay for property damage, supplier costs, insurance premiums, and other debt obligations that are regarding or related to your business. Okay, so that's what you're supposed to use it for, and it's pretty broadly defined. Okay, so there are other options available for us as realtors. You can get an EIDL grant or a disaster-related a loan, but those, you got to pay back or whatnot. So I want to just focus here on the PPP because that's the best option for most of us. Okay. Now, the PPP loan is simply, let's get into it. What is eligible from the CARES Act? They reopened this now. So what any business, which all of us have less than 500 employees, it includes us, sole proprietors, independent contractors, self-employed individuals, real estate agents, all of us. It's well defined that we are eligible. Okay. So the second draw, like I told you, is qualified by those who follow these criteria: no more than 300 employees. You have or will use the full amount of you've already or will use your full first round PPP loan, meaning, to get a second loan, you have to have the first one done. You have to demonstrate a 25% reduction in your gross receipts in the first, second, or third quarter of 2020 in the same quarter of 2019. Okay, so first, second, or third. I imagine a lot of us on the second quarter have a dip in income. Okay, you have to show that you have a business that's established as of February of 2019. Okay, and if you have it established after the third quarter of 2019, you have to show a revenue. Most of us have already been in business for 2019. I'm going to focus on us. And if you were not in operation on or before February 15, 2020, you are not eligible. So new realtors who just got their license after February 16th, you're not going to be eligible because you don't have established business. Now, what is defined as gross receipts? All revenue that you received in accordance with your business, including basically it's going to be your commissions, okay? It could be your rents or royalties or dividends or interest if you happen to have, maybe your business is, I have no sales, but I have 20 different properties that I manage. You technically are filing a Schedule C, okay? So it's going to be, in our case, and I'm speaking towards the realtors with Dynasty, it's going to be based on your 1099 miscellaneous income that we issue to you. Okay, that's for the real estate side of us. I'm not going to talk about anything else, whether you have other business going on, or maybe you're an Uber driver and you have other Schedule Cs. This is really the real estate side. Okay, I want to clarify that. I also want to clarify, I am not a tax accountant or a CPA. I'm not a financial advisor, and you must or should speak with your own accountant because I do not have that qualifications to teach you this stuff, but I do know the process. As a broker, I have applied on my own. And so I want to tell you from my understanding and reading the rules and everything like that, but you must, help or get the help with, I'll tell you resources of where you can get detailed questions at. Now, regardless if the broker applies, which I am, can you independently apply? Absolutely, yes. I encourage you to take advantage or consider and look into this. So how much money can you borrow? It's going to be basically $5,000 to $20,000 8 through 3 as a maximum loan amount. So if you think it's worthwhile, great. If you maybe only had like $1,000 of income, maybe it's not that worthwhile to go through all these steps. But if you have, decent income, why not? Okay. So what are you going to use it for? It's like I told you, it's for all of these things right here. It's your payroll costs. It's your expenses, your insurance premiums and whatnot, supplies. Okay. And they have a definition called owner income replacement. And it means that an agent who has difficulty earning commissions on real estate sales due to the pandemic may use the PPP loan proceeds as a substitute for the compensation the agent would normally receive from their commissions, and the borrower can spend the owner income replacement portion of the PPP loan, which is roughly 75%, towards anything the borrower chooses. Okay, that's very broadly defined. Okay, so that makes it very easy to make the application for forgiveness simpler because you can show what you're doing. And we all have a lot of expenses that are going to be more than $10,000, whatever your amount is, but $10,000 could easily be done. Okay. Now, the benefits of the PPP loan are they are forgivable. It's guaranteed and backed by the government. Your payments are deferred. There's no collateral at all. It doesn't matter what your credit score is or how much credit card dues or high balances you have. There's no background check on your financials or whether you've filed bankruptcy in the past. And there's also no personal guarantee. So that's the good thing about it. The forgiveness amount is that you're not required to repay this back. So this forgiveness has been simplified. I'll talk about that later. And relatively there's deferred payments too. So you don't, once you get the money, you don't even have to make the payments right away. I think they give you about 6 months grace period before you make your payments back or something like that. And whatever you don't get forgiveness on, maybe they only forgive you 75, 80% of that loan. Well, the remaining 20%, you just pay 1% interest. Okay, it's not bad. You get a loan. It's going to be 2 years long, and you can pay it back anytime, no prepayment penalty. Okay, so how do I apply? Okay, you're going to apply not through the SBA. You're going to apply through any bank or credit union or community bank or an online bank. Okay, so there's many areas where you can apply. I would suggest you go with a bank that's already has an existing relationship with you, perhaps a bank that you already have what's called a business bank checking account or savings account already established at. However, it's not required to have a business account. Okay, it just helps in your proof of your business being established. It could be in your own personal name as well. I'm going to show you what the application form looks like, but I'm going to fill it in with you as well. Now, how do you calculate your PPP loan amount? Okay, for the round one, this is draw. This is what you take, your Schedule C. Pull out your 2019 or your 2020 if you've already, it's due next month. So you probably can start filling it out to see which one has higher gross income based on your Schedule C. Look at your 1099s. We've already distributed 2019 and 2020 1099 miscellaneous incomes. So check out which one has the highest gross. Go to your line 7, which is your gross income. And using line 7 will usually lead to a higher loan calculation. And if this amount is over 100,000, maybe you earned 120,000 gross income, just make it 100,000 max, because that's what the max is. Okay. Then you calculate that, divide it by 12 months, divided by 12. Then you multiply that amount by 2.5. That is the multiplier they give you for real estate independent contractors. So in example, if you were $100,000, $120,000 gross income, then you divide it by 12 times 2.5, that'll give you 20,833 as the maximum loan amount you can get for round one. Okay. If you made $60,000, okay, I'm just going to do it really quickly to show you that if you did $60,000, which is basically the average realtor, you divide that by 12 times by 2.5, you would get $12,500 forgivable when you do the steps. Okay, so you can do the math for yourself, whether you had 1 sale or 5 sales or 10 sales. You decide whether it's worthwhile for you to follow and do these steps to get the benefit. Now note here in the red, or 2019 or 2020 to help you establish what is your greatest maximum loan. Okay, so that's the cool thing about this round, this time right now. And if you have already taken a loan from SBA in the past, like myself, and I used my net income, does the SBA allow me to use my gross and reapply? And no, I cannot. So I can't use my net anymore. So for those of who are already doing round 2, I can't revise my round 1. Okay, that's one of the frequently asked questions for some of you guys have heard. Now, if you have income greater than 150,000, simply just go ahead and use 100,000. Okay. Now, when you apply, what are the documents that you're going to need? This is the question to ask. You're going to need your Schedule C from whether you're using your 2019 or 2020. Let's say I'm using 2019 because that one's higher. Yes, you need a copy of your Schedule C and have that ready in your downloads folder or wherever in your computer, because you want to have all of your statements ready to upload when you're doing your application with your bank. Okay. You will also need to provide this is what you're going to need. You also provide a 2019 or 2020 1099 miscellaneous income on the year that you're doing it. So if you're doing 2019, have a copy of that form. The company still has your copies of your 1099s if you need it. And this will help you. You also need an invoice, a bank statement, or a book of record that can prove and establish that you are considered self-employed. Okay, so that's well broadly defined. Each bank will have their criteria definition of what is considered a self-employed established book of record, a record. Okay, for you, many of you guys might have a business account that's used just for your business. Many of you might have a lot of bank statements where you deposit your checks of your commissions. You might have you have all of the invoices that we issue a commission to you. There is a sheet that we attach with it, which is your breakdown of, and you can have your MLS listings. You can show your DRE licensing. You can show a lot of different proof of records. To me, I would oversupply them with your evidence. Let them go ahead and just understand and feel confident that you are in operation as of February 15, 2020. Okay. Now for the second draw of PPP loans of not more than $150,000, they must document and show sufficient evidence that you experienced a reduction in revenue. So that could include tax forms, your annual tax forms, or your copy of your quarterly income statements or your bank statements. It's a little bit more complicated because when I was applying, they kept on denying and asking me for more evidence. So this one's a little bit more complicated, but you do need to kind of show that you have a loss of 25%. Okay. Now, you must be in operation, like I said, as of last year, February 15, 2020. And as long as you were in operation on that date or prior, maybe you just got your license in 2019, December, and maybe you had one sale or whatnot, it's going to be harder, but you still can apply if you did not have any income during 2019. Okay. Now, there are many options to choose out here. I'm not going to go through all the options yet, but there are some resources. Okay. CAR always recommends talking to your CPA accountant, but there are other areas I could tell you where you can get some questions and answers for your own unique situation. And this process is very, very fast. You get your loan within 10 days from your approval. So if you get approved from your bank, you're going to be able to get that money quickly. Okay. And I'm going to give you some guidance and steps as well. Here are the tips for you. Okay. Number one, you can apply at multiple banks. So for me, I bank with Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase Bank, this and that. So you can go ahead and apply at multiple banks and see which ones give you the approval and the maximum loan amount. Okay. So you can go ahead and apply at 5 different banks, see which one is playing game and playing ball with you and willing to issue you the approval, and then just only get the certification and approve one of the banks that you apply for. So that's tip number one, is spread it out and try different banks, because some banks have easier application processes than others. Okay. Number 2 tip is, once you get your loan approved, you want to have documentation for how you're spending that money and where it went And I would suggest creating a separate account or dedicating a certain account just for the forgiveness application to make it easier for you to track your draws, track the expenses, and that way when it comes time to get your forgiveness application, you don't have to dig around and find all your papers everywhere and your receipts and invoices or this and that. You can simply just go to that account and easily find and track and provide that bank statement evidences that they're going to want to see when you do your forgiveness application. Now, the other tip I want to give you is there's multiple banks, even online banks, to go through as well. I suggest using your existing relationship bank because they probably know your situation better and you have a longer credit history and whatnot. But there's so many banks out there. You can even get a SBA loan through PayPal or through online banks. And the YouTubers I said, they actually recommended a few other sources that are super easy to get your approval, and they're online banks. Okay, but I cannot tell you which one to go to. You can go ahead and apply where you want to. Now, what I want to go over now is give you an illustration of how simple it is. This is the SBA website. You guys see that right here on my screen? Someone say yes or no?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. In big bold in the beginning, this is ending March 31st. We got another 2 weeks to get this done. So I encourage you to, if you are interested in getting this done, start applying bank 1, bank 2, bank 3, see which one is acting quickly because some of these are they're kind of flooded right now. There's a lot of people trying to take advantage of this. So you have a maximum 2-year maturity to pay it back. Loans issued after June 5th, 2020 have a maturity of 5 years. There's just small criteria, but anyway, just understand it could be forgivable. Now let's talk about the qualifications, okay? We fall under here. We all fall under a small business, whether it's ourselves, we don't have 500 employees. And people who are in health and food accommodation services, they actually get a higher multiple. Instead of 2.5, I think they get like 4.5 or 3.5. I forgot what it is. They get a larger loan, okay? Because businesses and restaurants had to shut down, so they're giving them a little bit more benefit. But I'm speaking towards us realtors. Here are what we got to do. You click on this application form, and I'll show you an illustration of how easy and simple it is. I download this PDF. And do you guys see this Paycheck Protection Program screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So some of you guys have a C Corp, S Corp, or an LLC, but a lot of us are basically independent contractors or self-employed, okay? Sole proprietors. So as a self-employed individual, let's say I have no employees, okay? This is how it is. What is my DBA? Well, that's assuming that I don't have a team name or whatnot. My DBA is my own name. I do business as Kelvin Chang, correct? And I started working in, I think it was May of 2005 is when I first established myself as 2005, I'm sorry. I don't know the exact date, but I'm just gonna say May 30th, okay? My business legal name is Kelvin Chang. If you want, you can maybe write realtor or broker or whatnot, real estate agent. And then you go to NAI, and if you want to know what your NAICS, I'm going to Google you and show you what it is. So NAICS is the industry federal code for real estate agents. I am going to pull up which one it is for you, since you're going to use 531210. This is considered buying and selling agents, real estate, blah, 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 blah. So use 531210 as your NAICS code. And I just simply go right here and put that in. You guys see this, the back here, no more than 500 employees, your business address. I don't know if you have a home office that you work out of, but in my situation, I'm going to use my company. Okay, that's my principal place of business. And then my business social security number, I'm just going to type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 because I'm not going to give you my social online. And my business phone number, I'm just going to put it as my cell phone. Primary contact. Primary contact. I think that's my cell phone. So they give you these definitions. I'll get back to that later, but you're gonna, and then you put your email address here. Okay, so then you calculate your average monthly payroll. So this is where you use your gross income. Okay, line 7 on your Schedule C. I'm just gonna say an average realtor probably does about 4 deals a year, and they might have made something around $50,000, right? No, I'm sorry, 50. If I'm going to use $50,000 as the gross number, every one of you guys have your own Schedule C and your own 1099, but I'm just going to use $50,000. It's nice and easy, so I'll do the math with you right now. If you have that as your 1099, I'm going to divide that by 12, times that by 2.5. This average monthly payroll becomes 10,416.6666. So I'm going to say 67. Okay, number of employees. This is where I have conflicting information because when my bank at Chase said employees, and I have no employees under me, I told them I work for myself. They told me to put it as 0. However, CAR guidance says to put it as 1, okay, because you are your own employee. So I'll leave it up to you to decide or speak with your own accountant whether you put 0 or 1. However, that's the one clarifying thing that you need to just kind of investigate, or maybe call the bank or ask them to clarify for you and have them respond back. Okay. So then you go purpose of the loan. Okay. So what are you going to use the money for? Okay. It's not just called free money. It's to use it for a purpose. One obviously is payment of your payroll. Okay. You have utilities like your cell phone bill or internet bill or whatever utilities you might have, right? Covered operations expenditures. Okay. And that's pretty much, that'll cover what because you're basically going to get a loan amount of 10,400. And if 75% of that is forgivable towards salary payroll, which is roughly $2,900 left, then you can have a lot of covered operational expenditures under utilities and your business expenses. There's easy to find $2,900 worth of expenses. So that's what I'm going to tell you right here. If you have other businesses that you are more than 20% owner, then you would put it here. Okay, I will assume none of you have that, but you go ahead and find your own unique situation. And then this is optional information here. So I can say, hey, my name is Kelvin Chang. I am a realtor, or you can call it a salesperson. You can call yourself an independent contractor. Okay. You can call yourself a sales associate. Whatever you want to call yourself is valid. And I would say I'm a non-veteran. I can say I'm male. For my instances, I'm Asian ethnicity. I'm not Hispanic or Latino. And going ahead, I do what's called the certification and questionnaire. Okay. Now, am I previously suspended or ineligible because of or presently involved in any bankruptcy? I'll say no, I'm not. Most of us are not. Okay, this doesn't let me check these boxes, but you go ahead and just fill in your check boxes. Do you have any other type of loans that are currently delinquent, or in the past 7 years, do you have any other SBA loan that you have from a federal agency? Most of us are no. Do you have any other businesses that you own? Maybe you have a relationship where a blah, 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 that you're an owner of another business, like, I don't know, some of you guys invest in other companies. So if you do, then you say yes. Okay. If you don't, say no. And have you gotten an EIDL loan? Not the EIDL grant. Did you get an EIDL loan January 31st to April of 2020? If yes, then you did provide your details. But most of us did not do this. Some of us got a grant for like the number of employees. I got one for $1,000. Is the applicant or any individual owning 20% or more of the equity presently incarcerated for or in a felony or criminal, blah, 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 blah. Most of us are no. If you have last 5 years, any fraud or felony or embezzlement, do you have anything? Most of us are no. In the United States, is this the principal place of residence for you and your employees? Then you say yes. Okay. Some of us might be hiring a Philippines salaried employee, and they just do calls for us all day long, because I know Manila has a lot of call centers. That would not be considered one of the eligible pay employees, because you're not to keep outside of the country international people employed. This is to keep United States employees employed, to protect those paychecks in the US. So if you have international employees, then they're not going to count. Are you a franchise? No, you are your own business. You're yourself. Is this franchise in the SBA directory? You're not a franchise. Okay. So it's very simple. Then you certify by checking the boxes under each one that you were on operation, a business before February 15, 2020. Yes, you certify. It's necessary to support your ongoing operations of the applicant. So, you have to certify that this is necessary to help you keep your business going. The funds will be used to retain workers and maintain your payroll. So it's going to be used for your mortgages, rent, utilities, and stuff like that. So yes, you're going to use this money for these funds, for these purposes. Okay. I understand that loan forgiveness will be provided for the sum of this and this and this about covered workers, and not more than 40% of the forgiven amount may be for non-payroll account costs. Okay, so that's just follow those rules, and go ahead and it just says that you will not receive another loan, just not including the PPP second draw. So you're not going to apply for multiple round ones. That's what it means. And you are not getting this shuttered venue operator. I don't even know what that is. You're not a member of Congress. You're not the president of the United States. The applicant is not an issuer of certain securities. So, you know, stuff like that. So a lot of these are very, very people who are not, you know, not us, not normal. These are very, very unique situations. Okay. That's simply all you need to do to complete this application. And then you provide your Schedule C, your bank accounts, your evidence that you've been in business, and you have all of those documents to support your application because the bank will ask for it. Okay. Any questions? I covered a lot right now, but any questions right now? No?
One question.
Yeah.
You apply for PPP if you like people receive unemployment.
Yeah.
Can you still apply PPP?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Your unemployment benefits that are you certify for are week to week to week. So therefore, let's say you get your loan approved and your SBA gives you $10,000, then you should be reporting income and saying yes to I received income on the weeks that you're reporting that income received. So you could still continue to get benefits. And I think the increased benefits of, well, I don't know what it is right now, $600 extra or 700 every week. That's already run out, I think. So they are now reducing it just to the state level of benefits, not the federal bonus. So it really is not much, you know, by the time this is all you're getting your loan approved, there's not going to have such a significant bonus unemployment income giving to you. The bonus is going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so you might as well just either you start working, and if you're going to still continue to collect unemployment, then you certify for the weeks that you're going to claim that you received those the income. Just tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but yeah, you can still do it. Okay.
Okay.
So there's a couple of Q&As to help you. I got this from this SBA website for self-employed people. Okay. So let's say we used our 2019 because that was probably greater. I have no employees. How do I calculate my first draw? Okay, so you divide it by 12, you multiply 2.5, and blah 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 blah. So you're gonna give them a copy of your 1099 miscellaneous form, and give them the proof and evidence that you were in business prior to February 15, 2020. This is for the tutorial for those with employees. I'm going to skip that. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit later down here. If you have an S Corp or a C Corp, you can still go ahead and do that. And they give you the steps here that you're going to use your 941 and take various lines from your Form 1120. And that's going to help you for if you have an S Corp or C Corp, because I know some of you in this room do have a entity that you formed, and you would just follow this for your corporation as a pass-through entity. So that's going to be what you use, your 941 instead of your Schedule C. Okay. And now there's a couple of different things. These are LLC owners, and there's different things, this and this. There's another Q&A I wanted to show you too. And what I want to show you is going to be more towards what the loan forgiveness looks like. Okay. So the first draw, for those of us doing the first round, what does it need? Okay. there's a forgiveness period of 8 to 24 week covered period. And like I said, if you're going to, depending on the methodology you're going to do your forgiveness, the weeks that you cover yourself, those are the weeks that you're going to certify that, hey, unemployment, I am getting paid for these covered weeks. So you have to spend at least 60% or more on payroll and various payroll costs and other eligible expenses, and you maintain the same level of employees. Okay. So what are we going to do? They're going to give you what's called, I would suggest the easy form 3508. Okay. And these are the items you're going to need: a bank account statement or third party payroll provider, tax forms of your covered period. Typically, we're going to use your 941 on your IRS form, and this and that. Okay. And let me show you what the forgiveness form looks like. Do this one here. This is the easy one. So when it comes down to forgiveness time, my business was Kelvin Chang. You really don't have a DBA, so you can leave this blank. I'm sorry. Business address, I'm going to use 922A Las Tunas Drive. I'm going to use the same NACIS code. I'll put my social security number here and my number. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Now, this is the forgiveness application easy form. Then I would just simply click this box. You're going to have a loan number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're going to have the loan amount that you got certified for. In the illustration that we did together, that was amount of 10416.67 or 66. Okay. And for my Chase Bank, I think they said do it as one lender PPP loan number. You're gonna have your lender like B of A or Chase or whoever. They're gonna give you another number here. You're gonna get the date that they dispersed it into your account. Let's say you apply now and you get your money in April 4th, 2021. And you should show that the same number of employees if it's yourself, or 0 and 0, whatever is in your situation. And then you do your covered period. Okay. Now the covered period is defined. Let me show you the definition. Here's the instructions. Now, it's basically begins on the date the loan was originally dispersed. In my situation, I said April 4th, let's say, right? And it ends 8 weeks following that date of the loan disbursement. So you would use at least 8 weeks to no more than 24 weeks, which is, a good, I don't know what, 6 months. Okay. And so you show your covered period. So you would use any date from, just follow the example, but whenever you receive it, and then you have a little bit of flexibility, because some people get paychecks or sometimes they take draws twice a month or whatnot. But I'm just going to tell you it's slightly flexible on your covered periods based on the timing of the month. And you're going to just go ahead and do a type of owner compensation method, right? So as a self-employed individual, this is the best situation for you. is go ahead and take, and you and you know, up to 75% of that would be eligible for towards your payroll, and that'll maximize the amount of forgiveness there. And then you supply the rest of your of your utilities and other expenses. So eligible payroll costs, okay? They're considered paid on the day that paychecks are distributed or the borrower originates an ACH credit transaction. So they're incurred on the day the employee's pay is earned. So if you are in the covered period, you kind of want to have draws in your bank account to prove that you took some payroll. That'll help you in your application forgiveness. Okay. So when you do this, then you just kind of show that your compensation paid to your employees, which is yourself. You show your tax forms. You can show your covered periods and any payment receipts or checks or various evidences like health insurance or whatnot. You know, all of these, we all have all these expenses to document and provide. Okay. And your annual salary is not reduced by more than 25%. So you want to have the same amount of income that you're reporting, stuff like that. There's eligibility stuff there. So when you get into the application, you can kind of see it's not that difficult to apply and to get your forgiveness. And you just simply just go ahead and put together your expenses. So if this was done, my cover period began, I don't know, April 4th, 2021, and I covered, 24 weeks of this. I don't know, just say, let's say, July 31st. Okay. And it could be any amount, but you probably just use the maximum time and you get your calculation. I would probably put around 60 to 75% of my loan amount here. So maybe it'll be somewhere around $7,500. How much did I spend in covered operational expenditures? Maybe I had $1,000 worth of expenses that needs to be covered here. Maybe I had various types of utilities like my phone bill, and maybe like $400 worth of that is going to be eliminated. So you want to have evidence to show hopefully the full $10,400. And then you add all this up, it should add up to 10,416.66 when you have the evidence. Then you take 10,416.66 as your loan amount, divide line 1 by 0.6. And it'll give you the forgiveness amount to be full. But I might have done this a little bit backward. I think you can do the full payroll cost. Okay. They give you instructions here. But that's how easy it is to do. I think the easy application was the easiest one for many people to calculate the full forgiveness. And you go ahead and just submit it after the your bank allows you to do it. Now, when you go to various banks, I'm going to show you what you can do. Okay, Chase.com, for example, they have a lot of them are all very active in trying to help you get to it. So you can go to probably what's called business. And then you just click right here. Okay. You're going to log into your account, and March 19th is the deadline to apply for PPP through Chase. Okay. That's actually very soon. So certain banks are having different eligibility timing. So if you're going to go through Chase, you got to get it in now. That's new news to me. If you're going to go through, for example, like bankofamerica.com, they can you got to check each one for yourself. But I do know they've been working very well with Bank of America too. So I would go to the business side of things, and that is going to be here, small business. I'm going to and you just search the website. Oh, right here. And I think this one's still open to 31st. Oh, wait. March 22nd is Bank of America's, I think. Well, just check with your own bank, because I know it is a lot, a lot of rush towards this. So the earlier you do it, the better. If you're going to do the second draw, PPP loan, I'll start talking about that. But does anyone have any questions on the first draw, PPP loan?
Hey,
Anybody?
Kevin, I have a question.
Yeah.
The forgiveness is a full amount of forgiveness or just have limit like 10,000?
The full amount, as long as you're using a minimum of 60% of that money is towards payroll, and the remaining is towards qualified expenses or business expenses.
So it doesn't matter, it's over 10,000 or less, right? Just the full amount, what you get, the loan.
Whatever you get, yeah, you can
Okay.
get forgiveness for that.
So the more is better. And
Yeah, the most you can get is going to be 20,000 something.
okay, thank you.
So yeah, but the more you get, the better. Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. But you are certifying. It says in the second box, it said that you needed this money because of your uncertainty of the future and the market, and that you needed this.
Yeah,
help
marketing,
with the
that
pandemic.
is a lot of money. It's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So
Yeah.
we can do this through CPA, right? Either by ourselves, either CPA can help.
CPAs can help, but technically, everyone can do it by themselves, because
Yeah.
what is what are they going to do? They're just going to help you like understand what you're talking about. But if you just follow the instructions or you watch the YouTubers, there's so many people teaching you how to do it. You don't technically need a CPA, but the JJ, the CPA, is a CPA, and he teaches you how to do it in the video.
Oh. Just some CPA, they have good connection with the lender, some lender, so easily get it.
Yeah, go through a rep there. They can probably help you too. But like I told you, this guy, if you guys see my screen right now, he's a
Who is
YouTuber,
JJ?
he's a CPA, and he tells you how to do, he's been focusing all of his videos
Oh,
that they're starting to stop applications because there's too many going on. Even though the official end date is March 31st, many banks are stopping applications very soon. That's why I told you guys 2 weeks ago, don't wait for this class to start. Do it immediately.
oh my God, the second will be ending this month also.
Yeah.
So we only do first one. So
Yeah, the first one's the easier one to do anyways. You don't have to prove a 25% loss of reduction of income, which is kind of difficult to do.
so that means we miss the second one forever, because it will done in this month. We just catch this first one, right? First job.
Yeah, but if you, well, it was every, I don't know how hard I could have pushed it last year, but I pushed it like almost every month. I talked about it, or every meeting we got it gathered. I wanted to I told everyone to do it the first time
Oh,
around.
that time is not clear. That means that time we think we cannot get it because self-employment, we don't have.
Well, yeah, because everything is, this is not something that ever existed before. This is all new. So the IRS SBA kept on changing the guidelines. The state, has different guidelines, but many people instead they opted to do the unemployment benefits, and technically that was probably greater than the amount of PPP loan you could get back then, because
Right.
back then we all were using the net income, and to date, many people who were getting unemployment were getting, I don't know, $19,000 plus if you have no income from then to now. So you probably would have benefited more getting unemployment in terms of total dollars than getting a PPP loan forgiven that was using a gross income. So technically, people who got the employment are kind of probably getting a little bit more.
So both of them can get at the same time or not?
Okay, same time is hard to, I would tell you, is no. Because you cannot have a PPP loan certifying your benefits for a covered period and simultaneously declaring to the EDD that you have no income. That's not true.
Okay.
But if I have 8 weeks only covered period and I didn't use the full 24 weeks, 8 weeks I could have gotten and used the PPP loan for my for the round one. And then the other weeks, for those 8 weeks, I would certify I do have income. Therefore, I don't get a benefit for those weeks, and then I get the benefit for the non-covered periods, if you technically know what I mean.
Okay.
The timing don't make it overlap. They must be
Okay.
mutually exclusive time periods, where one period is going to be unemployment, one period would be covered period of PPP. And they give you
So-
flexibility. You can choose to use 8 weeks, and you can choose to choose 24 weeks of covered period. That's why they're giving you additional flexibility for those of you who taken the unemployment EDD money. Does that make sense?
Mm.
But again,
Yes, it makes sense.
all of that detailed stuff and covered period, I want you to speak to your own accountant or whoever's going to help you with this, or do your own due diligence. But YouTube is a wealth of information already. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Good question.
But anyway, both of them have to be taxable, right? They have to do
Oh,
tax
taxable income. Great news, guys. If you're doing the PPP loan, it's not taxable. If you get the
Really?
forgiveness is not taxable.
That's better than EDD.
Oh, of
obviously,
course. If you look right here, will I need to pay income tax on forgiven proceeds? Okay. Any forgiven amounts do not need to be reported as gross income for federal or state income taxes.
Right? Wow,
Okay.
that's great.
Great question. You guys see my screen right here, right?
Very good. Yes,
I do believe unemployment is taxable.
of course.
Okay. So
I'll be taxed.
so there is a difference.
Yeah.
EDD does have taxable income, and the
Okay.
PPP is not taxable for the forgivable amount.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Any questions? Any other questions? Now, obviously, you need to have income. If you have no income in 2019 or 2020, you're not going to get any a loan amount because you don't really have any evidence to show that you were in business and you had income. So I don't think you're going to be able to demonstrate that form. Okay, let's speak towards the second draw. Okay, some of us out there have taken the round one. Now it's time to take round two. I already told you that you have to have less than 300 employees. You have to have successfully taken the first draw, and you have to have evidence to demonstrate a 25% reduction in quarters 1, 2, or 3 from 2019 to 2020. Okay, so we already talked about that. The application form is just the same. Okay, you're going to go ahead and use your gross income for the second draw. Okay, and how much do you get? Well, let's calculate that. Again, I'm a self-employed individual. I'm not going to fill out all that stuff. Let's say your schedule gross income, and I used 2019 because maybe that one was greater. Let's say my gross income was $80,000, right? And in the same instance, whether it's 0 or 1, whatever your bank wants you to do, your gross income is going to be $80,000 divided by 12. And it's the same formula, okay? But I'll do it right now. $80,000 of your gross income. And then you divide that by 12. That becomes 6,000. Multiply that by 2.5. That becomes a second draw of 1666.667. Okay, assuming you do not have any employees, I'll probably put this as 0 because I think it makes sense when I'm filling it out under this way. Okay. I'm still going to use it for payroll, my utilities, and my covered expenses, like health insurance. And then you show your 2020 quarter. So then I would say my quarter two of 2020. And I'm going to show my Q2. And then I'm going to show my evidence of my 2019, April, May, and June gross receipts. So that could be the statements that we issue to you for your income of your commissions for those months. And maybe I only had, let's say, I don't know, 1 sale in those months.
Hey Kevin, I just noticed in this first page and in the first draw, you put a salary, not gross income. But now you put a gross income like 8,000. But first draw you put a salary about 6,000 something.
The first illustration was my line. It was right. It's right here. I put in here.
Yeah, average monthly payroll.
Yeah. I took my line 7. I already told you guys, take your line 7, which is your gross income, divide that by 12. That's your average monthly payroll.
So either way, right?
What do you mean either way?
We can use the gross income on the tax return, gross income, or use the average monthly payroll.
You take your Schedule C, line 7, divide that by 12. That goes here. But choose the 2019 or 2020, whichever one is greater of income. I don't know what you're talking about. That one is your average monthly payroll. So you just base it on the highest year.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'm telling you, this is the forgiveness form. I was showing you something different. This one.
Yeah.
You mean you wanted me to use the same one as this previous example? I was just giving you an illustration, but if you want me to say that my gross income, because my previous example was $50,000, I could just do the same thing. Yeah. My gross income for 2019 in the same example is 50,000. It's going to be the same thing. $50,000 divided by 12 equals 4166.66. And then I times that by 2.5. It becomes 10,416.666. Okay. So it's the same thing. It's just, if you had $80,000 income, you would have gotten another what, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. The more income you have, the more you get.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just telling you, you use your Schedule C, line 7. That's the number you fill in here. There's nothing to guess. It should be whatever's higher from 2019 or 2020.
So my question is, if we use this one Schedule C, this total amount, we don't have to put like a salary, right? Monthly average salary.
It's right here.
Oh, it's still there.
It's just they added this box here to take it gross from 2019 or 2020.
Mm-hmm.
This is for second draw only, people. I don't even know why you're asking this question because I don't think you got the first draw.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get the second draw. You're never gonna use this form unless they next year or 6 months from now they allow first drawers who missed the first one. Then there's a new CARES Act 4 or 3 where Biden says you can now do your second draws for those who did it this time around. I don't know. But anyway, that's how you calculate all this stuff.
Mhm.
Okay. And this is only for the second draw borrowers. Okay. I already told you, you can only use this if you've taken and draw one.
Okay.
Then you add in if you have employees, you have your covered expenses. Here, you're going to show your gross receipts and you want to show a loss. So let's say Q2, I had one sale in 2019 and I made 10,000 bucks, one sale. And guess what? For April, May, and June of 2020, imagine I have zero. I didn't make zero sales. Okay. That is a 25% or greater loss. Maybe I did one lease and I earned 1,000 bucks for the lease. Okay. That's fine. You were still in business. You did one lease in 2020. As long as you show that it's 25% or more loss in 2020 than 2019. And you can use Q1, Q2, Q3, you know, whatever in your situation is most applicable for you to show that you have a loss with your evidence. Okay. Then I still answer the same questions that I just answered before. I had the same questionnaire with that I'm not a fraudulent person or any other felony or any other businesses, or you answer the truth. You put the same NAICS code multiplier, NAICS code here, and that's it. You submit your application. And because of the timing is narrowing down with more banks stopping application process, send out your application in multiple areas because work with the one that's willing to give you approval. And then just only certify approve one of them. Okay, that's my guidance and advice if you're going to do this and explore this, whether you're doing draw one or draw two. But if you missed out last year, here's your chance to save yourself, still get your unemployment that you did last year. And this year, you're going to get your draw one PPP, which is even a higher amount because it's gross income now. Does that make sense? Okay, that's today's class. Now, if you want to ask for who to follow, I'm going to just say I like PPP loan discussions from 3 sources. You go ahead and write it down, YouTube them. I get no paid subscriber or referral link. I don't care about that. I want to help you guys get this money. JJ the CPA. There's a guy named Meet Kevin. And just type in PPP. And he talks right here about the new PP, lots of free money. Go to this one right here under Act Fast and or self-employed step-by-step guide. Okay. He has a lot of good topics on the PPP loan. The last one I want to talk to you guys about is called, what's his name? Clear Value Tax PPP loan. He is also a tax accountant, and I would watch his videos too on the PPP loan. Okay. Any questions?
Let's talk about the stimulus package.
Very
Anyway,
good. Thank you.
so those are the resources I wanted to point you. Go to the SBA website for the language or the detailed what number, because it tells you how to fill them out already. And then go to your CAR website for the guidance, because they have a whole guidance section there. You can go to the NAR website as well for additional realtor guidance. And lastly, talk to your accountant or CPA for the forgiveness and kind of help you structure, document, and what receipts you're going to need to supply, because they should be doing this and have very, very strong knowledge on this already. So I hope this is very informal, helpful to you. And I'm going to stop recording because I want to share one thing real quick. But enjoy the rest of your time, and do make sure you get your applications in this, hopefully this next couple of days.